All right, so UGREEN has decided to upgrade 4-bay NAS units, 4 3.5-inch bays, and then 2 M.2 bays. Yeah, so this is the NASync DXP4800 Pro. What's the difference? Let's just go ahead and cover that first, and then I'm going to talk about some of the reasons why I used UGREEN, some of the reasons why I prefer them, especially at this price point. So the Plus, the previous model, has the Intel 8505 with 5 cores, 6 threads, 4.4 gigahertz. This one has the Intel i3 1315U. It's actually a similar CPU, but instead of just having one performance core, it has 2 performance cores. For some people, that is just enough headroom to do a whole lot more when it comes to running VMs and containers. So if you're someone who wants a NAS just for general storage, the Plus is probably just fine. But if you want to do general storage, Jellyfin, Theater, the Photos app, the Music app, and you want to run a bunch of Docker containers, or you want to run some VMs and stuff, then you might want to take a look at the Pro. They're both 4 bays. They both have 2 M.2 slots, so you can run a separate pool right there, or use those for caching if you like. They both come with UGREEN OS, but here's one of the things that I like about UGREEN. They don't lock these systems down. They're computers. They say it's got UGREEN OS Pro right on there. So there's an internal 128 gigabyte M.2, not one of the ones that you take out or whatever. It's just internal memory, and that has the operating system on it. So if you wanted to use those other M.2 to install other operating systems, maybe tinker around and then switch back in the BIOS to the original, try some things out, try out Unraid. I don't know what are all the kids running these days. I always come back to UGREEN OS. You could even try Expandable if you wanted to, but I actually prefer the UGREEN OS now, even over that. So because it's just maturing so quickly, and I like the direction that they're going much better than I like the direction the competition's going. Which also brings me to my next point. We have 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, one of those, and we also have a 10 gigabit Ethernet port. Try to find that on the competition. You're going to get like a 1 gigabit port, and then an option to spend a whole bunch of extra money for a separate thing for 10 gigabit. We've got USB Type A. 10 gigabits per second. We got one of those. We got USB Type A that's 5 gigabits per second, and then we have 2 USB 2 ports on the back, and then they both have an SD card slot. These are loaded, but a lot of it for me is the philosophy of the company, the direction they're going, and the software. So I got these Seagate Ironwolf drives. We're going to put those in there. Now, it's really easy to install these. In fact, it's so easy I don't even like talking about it, but I will anyway. So on the back, there's just a little tab that says push. You push it and kind of slide it up. Then you put your hard drive in there so that the connectors are facing out, not in. That doesn't work. And then you close it, and that's it. I like to do this with it flat on the desk. So lie it on the desk, and while it's laying there, you just put it in there, close it up, and it's good. If you do it upright like I did, it might fall out, but I'm doing a demonstration so I can break the rules. But yeah, it's really easy. Pop it in there and whatever. Why don't we take a look at the software? Now, when it comes to that, you can easily go through the entire process with just your phone. You don't need to plug this up to, it's got an HDMI port, but you don't need to even plug this up to anything. You could just get the UGREEN OS app on your phone, open it up, it'll instantly find this as long as you have it plugged up to your network and your phone is on the same network, it finds it. Never failed for me. And then you can go through the entire installation process. It's that easy now, just by clicking a few things on your phone. I like to do it using the UGREEN OS, so let's go ahead and go through the installation process. Setting up the NAS is easy. You just go to UGREEN's website. I just searched for UGREEN NAS software and it brought me here. After you open up the app, it'll find whatever you have plugged up to the network. And there it is. It's found the 4800 Pro. I'm going to go ahead and click next on that. Just name it. There we go. So this is easy enough. Make a strong password. I'm making medium because I'm just doing demonstrations. You can also set your avatar here, which I always do, straight from your computer. There's Kremeth. Confirm. You can put your email address in right here, and I'd recommend doing that because they will send you any information about your NAS that's really relevant. Like if your hard drives need to be replaced or something, they'll send you an email. So I would recommend doing this. I'm going to skip it because I'm not going to be keeping this one. It's for demonstration. And then as far as the updates go, a lot of people will be fine with the first one. I'm going to do this because I don't want it to ever reboot unless I tell it to. Now we're going to click initialize. It doesn't take long at all. If there are any upgrades to the UGREEN OS, it'll generally download those now and go ahead and apply those, so it may reboot. Okay, that's it. Now we are in. It'll guide us through everything. A little bit of a tour here. I'll show you where all this stuff is, but you can go through the tour on your own. The first thing you're going to want to do is just set up some storage. So we're going to create a storage pool here with the hard drives we've already put in there. Just select all of your hard drives. We got to pick our RAID type here, so let's talk about that for just a second. With 4 drives, I'm going to recommend RAID 5. That means you'll have 3 drives for storage and 1 for backup. RAID 6 is if you're really serious about, your data integrity. You get 2 drives for storage and 2 for backup. For most people, as long as you can swap out that 1 drive before another one goes bad, you'll be totally fine here with RAID 5. So it's up to you which one you want to pick. Those are the only 2 I would really recommend for this. As far as the file systems go, I always pick BTRFS because it's mature at this point, it's fast, and it has snapshotting and all kinds of things that will help data integrity. That was quick. All right, it created the storage pool, but now we need some folders. Just click down here if you ever get lost. Click on this and we'll create some folders. So each user is going to get their own folder, but you can also just have folders that are available for everybody. See, right here's the users. It's showing you everything. You can have full rights. You can assign rights to people based on different, folders and everything else. So if you have other users here, you can just go ahead and assign their rights to different things so that everyone has access to whatever you want them to have access to. So I'm not going to mess with the personal folder just yet. I'm going to come down here to the shared folder, and you can see we have the little plus. Let's go ahead and click on plus and do create shared folder. And I'm going to call this one media, cool. And I'm going to give myself read and write access. You can also assign it to anybody else who you have created here. I'll do it again and just make one for, work or something. Now we've got 2 shares. If you want to map these on Windows, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Well, we need to enable the Windows networking. So right over here to remote access, we can enable that here. The UGREEN ID, if you want to enable remote access, you can do that. I'm going to do that more advanced with DDNS, but that's something for later. Click over here on File Service. This is in your control panel. And here we have SMB. That's going to be for Windows stuff. So just enable the SMB service and we're good to go. Now we can map this in Windows. If you're using Linux, you can use NFS. There's also rsync, WebDAV, and a whole bunch of other stuff. FTP if you need it. NFS is what I use for all of my Linux servers. Press Windows key R, which will bring up your little run thing here. And then we need to get the IP address of this if we don't have it. There we go, right up here, just hover over this. It'll tell you that's our IP address. So just push whack whack 172, put in your IP address right here. And then it'll ask for your name and password, which is your username and password for the NAS. I like to do remember, so you don't have to always log back in. Now all we have to do is just map these by right-clicking and then clicking on Map Network Drive. You may have to go to click more if you're on Windows 11, I'm not sure. You can put them wherever, whatever, S is fine. Reconnect it, sign in, yes. There we go. Now we've mapped our network drive. I'll make some folders here. All right, so I put a whole bunch of folders here for all my media, and we'll use that soon. May as well change my background while I'm here. There we go, I've been liking this one lately, and it kind of matches the blue aesthetic, but it's more me, All right, that's just my spirit guide or whatever in Baldur's Gate 3. So we're good to go now. Let's go ahead and install some apps. That's the next thing I like to do. Right on top, we have our common NAS stuff. This gives us backup plus our main mini apps, photos, music, and theater. And our cloud backup. So we have local backup and cloud backup. Let's show you what the local backup is like. So this allows you to sync between different NASs or sync with this computer as long as you're using the app. If you're in the browser, the sync with the computer thing does not work, so you need to use the app for that. So what you can do here is just say, I pick a path on my computer. I really want to sync up my documents folder, So there's your documents folder, sync that up, and then you pick a spot on the NAS. Let's say you just want to set that up to my user folder there. There we go. You can do 2-way sync, one way from the UGREEN or one way from your computer. So either way you want to do it is fine. But that allows you to just have backups of stuff on your computer going to the NAS. And then you can sync a NAS with another NAS. So let's say you want to sync something up with the cloud. Well, you can do that here with the cloud backup. And here's what we have, new connections. Right now, this is what you have available. So hopefully soon we'll have some more things, but they've been adding to it since I've been working with them. So you want to do Google Drive, OneDrive, Amazon S3, which is really handy because it'll also work with some of the S3 compatible stuff. Just put in your access key, your secret key, and your bucket. And then you got 2 different S3s, S3 and S3 in China. So we can try that out there. All right, so that's your cloud backup. I'm also going to install virtual machines because I always use those. They're really handy. And then you can install Docker as well if you want to get nerdy and install all kinds of containers and have tons of stuff going on. You can do that. All kinds of other things. We've even got a Qubit torrent that you can download. Now I'm copying over a bunch of media so I can show you how all the apps work, but I want to do something right here in Photos before we get started, and that is enable all the local AI stuff. Now this is not some large language model that's running in the cloud. It's not ChatGPT or anything. These are actually helpful tools that help you browse through your stuff and identify different things, whether it's food, friends, or whatever. and it's not sending any data to the cloud. So I'm going to show you what I do. Before I upload any photos, click on settings over here. And from there we have AI settings, and I'm going to start downloading some of these models. When you do, it's like, yes, people recognition. So I'm going to download people recognition. I'll do text, so that way you can find text in your photos. This will help you find duplicates and similar items. Pets, sensitive content, model training if you want to like train your own models to find certain friends of yours and stuff, or whatever you want, and image recognition. So download these. All right, so once I have downloaded all these models, then you have to come over here and enable them. So there we go, enable. And that's it. We don't have any photos yet, so let's browse for photos here. Or you can do this. You can do like I did and put your photos right here on the NAS, and then you come back over here, click on this, click on folder scope. Now you've got your personal stuff, but I want to add a folder here to my shared folder. There we go. That way everybody can access it. And I put it right here in my media folder. There's photos. It'll just watch whatever's inside this folder. So anything I throw in this folder will be pulled into my library. It does take a while, maybe a few hours, depending on how many photos, maybe overnight if you have a ton of photos, to scan all these so that they show up in the database. So some of the indexing has finished. Yay. Ooh, that was delicious. All right, yeah, I can't wait to go back and get more of that. Let's search for night. I don't know if it'll find anything. Oh yeah, check that out. Nighttime, that worked. What else can we search for here? Let's search for store. I don't know if it'll know that one or not. Oh, okay, yep. Wow, that's really cool. This is what you do when you go to Asia. You just bask in the light of the 7-Eleven being like, why? That's how this works with the Photos app. You just put your photos in here, and then you can use the AI that you've downloaded to search through your photos to find anything else. I wonder if it'll find Halloween. It even gets Halloween. Wow. That's pretty cool. All right, Theater is very similar to NBPlex and Jellyfin, but it's right here on the NAS. It's native, so you may not even need those programs anymore. Let me just show you. Let's go ahead and create our first library. We're going to make a library for anime shows. Start off with that and pick your language, and then add a folder. So I put right here in my shared folder inside media, and I got anime shows. So we'll just confirm that and save. I'm going to go ahead and add some more folders. It's already finding my anime shows. It'll take a second. It'll pull the information. It will pull all of this stuff, all of the metadata and everything. So that's going on. So I can click up here on the little cog, hit next, and we can create more libraries. You can also add your movie database API key if you want to pull even more metadata, but it works so well out of the box that I'm not even going to do that right now. Got all my stuff here, and it'll just start adding stuff. Alt and catch fire, why not? It knows what's good, and just put that right on the top. Best show ever made. Hit play. It'll open up an external player. This will work through your HDMI as well. Now you can watch this however you want, loosely based on the story of Compaq, but it also is loosely based on the story of id Software and a whole bunch of other stuff. The story of AOL, the story of Netscape Navigator, the story of McAfee. All these stories have been sort of parodied here, and it's great. Anyway, it works just fine, and you can see I'm hopping around without any problems whatsoever. You can access it through the web browser or, on your phone or whatever. Hey, Vern, it's Ernest. This is one of the best shows ever made. Don't, make no mistake right here. Probably better than Halt and Catch Fire. Let's come up here, click on the cog, and we're going to go ahead and add a shared music library over here. Click on Add, browse to my music folder, and confirm. And then I'll start pulling that in. Should happen almost instantly. Let's see here. Library, yeah, it's already pulling stuff in. But this allows you to have all your music on the go, no matter where you are, on your phone, on your devices, on your laptop, whatever. Give you a quick peek at Docker. This is beyond the scope of the video, but Docker allows you to come over here and look for different images for all kinds of different apps like Nginx, there's Redis, you can install Ubuntu right here with just, it's going to be a container. A containerized version, not a virtual machine. So all kinds of things that you can install here. You can install Docker with Docker. Wow. Like Pi-hole. There it is. We can grab Pi-hole. Now, these are going to run in Docker containers. So you'll have to probably do a little bit of research if you've never used that before. It's not incredibly difficult. If it's too much for you, we can always set up a virtual machine with a very easy operating system. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my virtual machines here. And in the coming video, I'm going to talk about something called ZimaOS, which is essentially a fancy shell on top of Docker that allows you to install everything without any headaches and all within a really easy interface. So stay tuned for that. But if you want to, create a virtual machine, I'll just show you what we can do quickly here. You can upload your ISO images and they will be stored here after you upload them. Let's see, what do we want to install? How about EndeavourOS? Why not? I don't know why I'm installing EndeavourOS. I think there's probably a newer version, but just give it a minute to import that. All right, that's finished. So we can go ahead and close this out and then select it. Go ahead and hit next. Pick our volume where the virtual machine is going to go. And if you have those M.2 installed, I would probably put it there. It's a good place to put your VMs. Now, as far as your system type goes, to Linux, and then you can set up cores and memory and all that. I'll give it 3 gigabytes and 2 cores is fine. And then for our disk, why not give it 30? Let's have a little fun here. And, make sure you pick the network that's plugged in. You'll see not connected, and then you'll see an IP address. So make sure you pick that one. It always defaults to the first one, but sometimes I plug it into the wrong one. The advanced options, I want to show you that. We can turn on your USB and stuff. VGA, you've got all this down here. And then we have different types of BIOS, UEFI or regular BIOS. I'm going to set that to UEFI. We can just click on Start, and it's going to direct us over to the website. It wants us to be inside a browser URL page. And then you can see right here, we've brought up the EndeavourOS installation. We can just do the default installation. It'll install just fine. So check that out. We've got start the installer. We can go ahead and do that with the EndeavourOS. Click right here and it'll show you just everything that's going on. And you can see we're only using 59% of our memory with all this stuff going on. And then for our CPU, 19%. This installation going on over here and all this stuff going on. Let me go ahead and open up Theater just to show you what's going on. So Theater, still 8, now we're 18%. So yeah, let's open up Battle Angel, why not? What are we now, 21%? You have a lot of overhead with the CPU. You can have multiple people watching stuff at the same time while someone else is using a VM, while someone else is using Pi-hole, while someone else is using something else. You know what I mean? So you can have a lot of people working on this at the same time. It dropped down to 12 now, even though we're over here doing a virtual machine installation. So there's plenty more apps and they keep adding new things. We now have Surveillance Center. This is a brand new app that they just released. And this is awesome because now you can use different surveillance cameras and set this up. And now you've got your own little, surveillance while you're traveling or whatever else. Browse and look at this on your phone app. So yeah, we got SAM Manager now for LUNs if you want to get really nerdy. So they just keep adding stuff right here. But the fact that we have Docker and VMs means you can literally do anything with this. A little bit different. I'm traveling and I've got a weird microphone right now, but I didn't want you to miss this $300 off, deal that they've got going on. So in the description, you're going to find a Prime Day discount, $300 off. So make sure you head down there, click on the links. All the information is going to be down there. Don't miss it or you'll be sad. If you're familiar with Docker and know what you're doing, well, I would just set up all kinds of containers. Get one going for Pi-hole, get one going for WireGuard, get one going for VPNs or whatever, get one going for Nextcloud. Whatever else you need. You could, anything basically. There's hundreds and hundreds of apps, so you don't have to worry about that. But you can do pretty much anything with Docker, including like the RStack and everything else. But if you don't know how to do all that kind of stuff, and Docker's a little bit intimidating, and you're like, I don't know what all these config YAML things are and all this stuff, Docker Compose, you're not familiar with that and you're not comfortable, I would probably install one VM and let it be something that makes that easier, like ZimaOS, which is a little containerized operating system that's very easy to install. So I'll make another video just showing you how to do that and how to set up some stuff, because I want people to be able to take this or any device, but mostly this one, because at this price it has the most compute power and you'll be able to run more VMs and stuff. So I would say take this and install something like that and then just kind of go crazy with the containers and everything. So anyway, thank you very much, UGREEN, for sending over the DXP4800 Pro. It's nice to see, a bit of an improvement there when it comes to the CPU. Why not? I mean, it's a small improvement, but that's enough to mean more stuff happening on your NAS. That makes me happy. Speaking of that, if you want to look at another 4-bay NAS, there's another option that I didn't think was going to be available in the USA, but here it is. It's available. It's the DXP4800 GT. And that one's a little bit different because it has an AMD and dual 10 gig Ethernet on the back. So be sure to check out that video as well. I'll link them below so you can make an informed decision. It's very similar. CPU is not quite as snappy as this one. Not quite as good for multiple, things, but it's got a faster network and U.2 support right out of the box. So if you want something that's really good for storage, that one's also good. So I'll take a look at that one too. So anyway, see you in the comments. Let me know what you think.